Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. Today I am coming at you with my April 2020 reading wrap up. April actually went by a lot faster than I had anticipated. It was also my birthday month. Sadly, I couldn't celebrate my birthday with a party like I usually do, but it is what it is. Hopefully this global pandemic will end soon and that the impending second wave won't be bad. Right now I'm just trying to stay positive. Work has been kind of slow, and during like the lull periods or the downtime, I listen to audiobooks to ensure that the day passes by a little bit faster. So this month I actually completed a lot of audiobooks. It's mainly audiobooks, and let's check out the breakdown. So let me see. I read 14 audiobooks, 3 graphic novels, 1 ebook, and 1 manga volume. So the grand total is 19. Most of the books that I picked up were kind of like meh and average. I do kind of have two, like, I guess, gems. Let's start with the audiobooks first, and we'll start off with a good one. Number 1 is The Unhiding Mooners by Christina Lauren. Amy and Olive are twins. At Amy's wedding, everyone gets seafood poisoning except for Olive and the groom's older brother, Ethan. To not waste this honeymoon that Amy luckily won, because she's very lucky, Hester Mystic, Olive, and like super bro like Ethan have to vacation together even though they don't like each other. With Christina Lauren, it's like an up and down relationship, but this one was definitely positive. I really like the situation that brings the couple together. Is super ridiculous but super fun. I really enjoyed their banter and antics. Olive's negativity was a little bit like too much for me at times, but overall I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun and I gave it a 4 out of 5. Number 2 is My Favorite Half Nightstand by Christina Lauren. Let's see, this is about Millie and her group of UC Santa Barbara professor friends. They all hop on the online dating so that they can find a date to a work gala event. On Millie's second profile, she actually matches with her friend Reed, who she previously slept with, but they both decided it was best for them to remain friends. After the high of The Unhiding Mooners, I decided I wanted to pick up another Christina Lauren, so I picked this one up, and like I said, Christina Lauren is such a hit or a miss with me, and this one was a dud. I just found it so boring, and I didn't like the main character, Millie, at all. I didn't think it was right for her to catfish her own friend, and honestly, like, this group of friends, like, they didn't even come off as friends. Yeah, I just didn't like this, and I gave this a 2 out of 5. Number 3 is Undercover Bromance by Lisa K. Adams. This is about Liv, who is a sous chef. She catches her like celebrity chef boss sexually harassing one of the young and new hostesses and gets fired. To, I guess, kind of uncover all the bad things her previous boss has done, she teams up with arrogant and rich nightclub owner Braden Mack. With this global pandemic, I kind of just wanted chill and easy romance reads to listen to, and I think in February I picked up the first book in this series, what was the title of it? Bromance Book Club. And I thought it was decent, and that's why I decided to pick up the second book. Sadly, it wasn't for me. I thought Liv was too proud and I couldn't get into her. I didn't find Braden Mack swoon-worthy at all. And honestly, one of like my biggest peeves was the fact that sexual harassment was used as a ploy to get like this couple together, and I didn't really like that. And I felt like the way sexual harassment was presented in this was done in a very unrealistic way. So yeah, this just wasn't for me. I ended up giving it a 2.75 out of 5, and like thinking about it now, I don't think I want to like continue with this series anymore. Number 4 is Hannibal by Thomas Harris. So with all this free time, I thought, you know what would be like a really good idea? I could complete like old series I started like a while back and never finished. So one of the ones was obviously the Hannibal Lecter series. I read the first 2 books quite some time ago. The first one is Red Dragon, and then the second is Silence of the Lambs. I enjoyed both of them a lot. So I went into this third one with like expectations, but at the same time I knew like the rest of the series wasn't well liked or well received, so I like tried to like suppress the expectations. Right off the bat, this book is super disappointing, and in the grand scheme of things, this book was not necessary. My biggest like gripe is what the end did to Clarice. I felt like it was a big injustice to her character, what ended up happening to her, the choice that she made. Unfortunately, it was just not a good decision to pick up this series. I gave this a 2 out of 5, and I will not be picking up the next book, which is the 4th and final book. Number 5 is Evil at Heart by Chelsea Cain. This is the 3rd book in the Archie Sheridan and Gretchen Lowe series. In the first book, Heartsick, we meet Detective Archie Sheridan, and he's super damaged. He was kidnapped by the beauty killer Gretchen Lowe. She tortured him for 10 days and then ended up releasing him, which kind of saved him, and then turning herself in. And that's kind of, if I remember correctly, how the first book starts. It starts with them at that present time. Like I just said, I thought it would be really fun during this time to complete old book series that I never got around to finishing. I was introduced to this series in high school by my friend Melissa. Shout out to you, Mel. So it has been a while since I read the first 2 books, but I do remember enjoying them. And this 3rd book, it was actually quite good. I really like Archie and Gretchen's dynamic, and I thought it was really fun. I do wish that there was a bit more of like torture and gore. I felt like that was a little bit lacking, but overall it was great, and I gave it a 3.7 out of 5. Number 6 is The Night Season by Chelsea Cain, which is the 4th book in the Archie Sheridan and Gretchen Lowe series. This one, my biggest problem is that Gretchen is practically like missing until the end, and this series is kind of about her, so I really missed her. And also I felt like Susan was a little bit off in this. I didn't really like what she was doing. However, the crime mystery component I thought was like quite well done. It was a bit of like a jigsaw puzzle like storytelling style, and yeah, I ended up giving this a 3.5 out of 5. Number 7 is Kill Me Twice by Chelsea Cain, which is the 5th book in the series that we're talking about right now. And this one, it really brought things back. 4 out of 5. Archie and Gretchen have returned in full force, and they're so messed up and so twisted, and I just really enjoyed this a lot. I love that the crime in this involves Gretchen's history, so we got to see a little bit of her past, and the conclusion for this book was really sweet and fantastic in my opinion. Number 8 is Let Me Go by Chelsea Cain, which is the 6th and last book in the series. So I did finish it this time around. Yay! I think that this conclusion was good. I kind of don't like what happened in the end with Gretchen and Leo, but yeah, it wasn't a bad conclusion per se. It's just like I expected different things. There were a lot of fun and exciting parts, but like mainly I didn't really like Susan in this, and Susan and Archie gets like a hard no from me. It was a solid end, but it didn't give me everything that I wanted, and I ended up giving it a 3.6 out of 5. It's like really sunny right now and I don't know what to do, but yeah, so I ended up giving it a 3.6 out of 5. I know that on the internet it's floating around out there that Chelsea Kane wants to eventually in the future expand this series. If that is the case, I don't think I will be picking up any of the new books. I feel like this book with its 6-book run is enough for me, and I'm okay with just ending it here. For me, it's been a great ride, and it's time for me to get off. Number 9 is Frostbite by Rochelle Mead. This is the second book in the Vampire Academy series. I read the first book last month and was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I was eager to continue with the rest of the series. Sadly, the second book, I just did not find it as fun as the first, and I think like with this one there was a bit more of like an emotional side bleeding through, which is like great, like slow development for a series, but honestly I just didn't care and ended up giving it a 3 out of 5. Number 10 is Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead. So obviously this is the third book in the Vampire Academy series. I will say that this one has its fun and exciting parts, but mainly I was just really peeved by Rose. I found her really annoying. There wasn't enough Lissa, and none of the side characters really stood out in my opinion. I still like wanted to continue with the series because like I was intrigued by like the mystery to the plot, and ended up giving this a 3.2 out of 5. Number 11 is Blood Promise by Rochelle Mead. I'm listening to audiobooks for this, right? And this is the second narrator change. Thus, this audiobook has had 3 narrators. And this new one changed some of the accents for the characters, and it like threw me at kind of like a curve, and I like needed to like readjust, and I really did not like that. As for the plot, I thought this book was a great self-discovery journey for Rose. Good for her. Sadly, I just couldn't see the appeal for this. It wasn't poorly written, it just couldn't hold my interest. I didn't find Dimitri to be swoon-worthy, and all the side characters were put on the back burner just so Rose can have like a story to herself, but this previous books have kind of mostly been about her, and I thought that kind of sucked. Overall, I think Vampire Academy, the series, like it's not bad, but for some reason I just couldn't get into it and couldn't connect with the plot or the characters. I ended up giving this one a 3.1 out of 5 and will not be continuing with the series anymore. Number 12 is On the Edge by Alison Van Diepen. High school senior Maddie witnesses the murder of a homeless man committed by a gang. Now there's like a target on her back, and somehow a second gang leader comes in and protects her. This guy, his name is Lobo, but who really is Lobo? I used to love Simone Elclis when I was in high school. I saw this book on Book Outlet for cheap, and it said that it was for fans of Simone Elclis, and that's why I decided to pick it up. But sadly, that was just like a really poor decision. I have really outgrown these types of YA romance stories where there's like the bad gangster boy and then the goody nerdy girl, and there's like I don't know, it's just these stories are no longer for me. I'm no longer the audience. And for this one in particular, I think the gang aspect was super duper unrealistic to the point where I was just like, oh, what? And it was also really cheesy, and there was so much like insta love that I didn't feel like the relationship and the couple developed enough for me to truly feel like there was chemistry and spark between them. Actually, this is part of a series, so I don't know, maybe the theme of this wrap up is disappointing reads and drop series, because obviously I won't be picking up any more books in this set in this world, and I gave On the Edge a 2 out of 5. Number 13 is Frankenstein by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. This is my one classic for the month. I feel like most people know what Frankenstein is about. It's pretty popular in pop culture, and it shows up like quite often, especially during like Halloween time. So the story is about science student Victor Frankenstein, who creates a monster of sorts using dead, stolen body parts. This monster starts wreaking havoc on his life, and for me, I don't know, I think this book is classified as horror, and maybe horror back in the day was a different thing, because I didn't find this scary at all. I don't think there was enough gore or torture or pain of the physical sort, and I don't think there was enough description as to like how horrifying the monster looks. I think the writing is very vivid, even with the long, and I mean long, monologues, and the narration was clear. I just felt like I wanted more and I wasn't impressed, and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5. Number 14 is Hunger, A Memoir of My Body by Roxane Gay. This is the last audiobook I will be discussing today. It's actually narrated by the author, and I would highly recommend you checking it out. It's very raw, open, and honest, and there were things that really touched me and I related to, but there were some parts that obviously I couldn't, and I think there were like more parts that I couldn't connect with, but the experiences that is being told is very, very poignant. My rating for this doesn't matter because this is someone else's life and someone else's truth, so I just kind of say like, give it a try. I think you or everyone can learn something from this just truthful piece of work. That's it for audiobooks. Moving on, let's talk graphic novels. Number 15, we have On the Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. Mia is the newest addition to a space crew, and she kind of reminisces back on the days when she was at boarding school, and her, like, I guess first love while she was there was this mysterious new girl, and now she's kind of out in space, and that girl is the reason why. The art in this was stunning. I loved the color scheme, especially how it separated the two timelines. I think the story in this was very beautiful. Although I couldn't really connect with the characters and struggles, I did think that the ending was really like, it was just really good. So I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Number 16 is Darth Vader and Sun by Jeffrey Brown. This is my second time flipping through this. If you just want something cute and chill to look at, definitely check out this children's picture book. It's a charming if Darth Vader took on his role as father, and I gave this a 5 out of 5. The art in this is super adorable. Number 17 is Moonstruck Volume 1 Magic to Brew by Grace Ellis and Shay Beagle. This is about a werewolf, Julie, who takes her new girlfriend to a magic show. While they're at the magic show, the magician there kind of casts like a mean bad spell on Julie's friend, and now they have to go and solve this or fix this. This was super cute, but it had a lot going on. Firstly, there was the main story, which couldn't really, had difficulties holding my attention, but nonetheless I thought it was very diverse and very creative. Then there's the story that the main character is reading, which is done in a different art style, and that was just there. And then there's also these random ask and know it all, which there's a lot going on in this graphic novel. The art is captivating and adorable, but the plot just didn't do anything for me. I ended up giving this a 3 out of 5, and oh my gosh, that is another series I won't be continuing with this month, or another series I'm dropping this month. So wow, yeah, that is kind of the theme of this month, I suppose. Next, let's talk manga. Number 18 is An Incurable Case of Love by Maki and Joji, Volume 1. I recently saw the live action for this and loved it, and I saw that Volume 1 was available on my library app and decided to pick it up. Let me tell you what the story is about. So we have a girl. She is a high school senior who is doing her senior trip in Tokyo. While she's on this field trip, she has kind of a meet cute with a doctor, and after that experience she decides to become a nurse to reunite with him. The first day on the job, she meets him and realizes that he is not the warm and kind sensei that she remembered. He's actually mean and a bully, and the people, the co-workers, all call him Devil. Like I said, I saw the drama for this and loved it. I'm honestly just such a sucker for these kind of plots, and I noticed that the drama did, in essence, kept the story very similar. They did change a few things, and I do think that the stuff that was changed made the story better in the live action format. But yeah, I would recommend this. It's super cute. It is a bully romance, which isn't for everyone, and it is extremely shoujo manga-esque, which also isn't for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, and my library app just made the second volume available, so you'll be seeing that in my wrap-up for next month. Finally, let's talk about the one ebook I read this month, and it's the best thing that I read this month. So number 19 is Broken by Nicola Hacken. Theodore is starting at his new job at this publishing company. He meets the CEO, James, who he previously had restroom sex with. James can't get Theodore out of his mind, but he thinks he's too broken for him. Honestly, this was such an emotional ride, and I really like the romance. I think that the portrayal of mental illness in this was very well done. I loved it. It made me cry. I gave it a 5 out of 5 and highly recommend. I don't know what else to say besides that it was fabulous and it just really touched my heart. And that's it. That's it for my very long April 2020 reading wrap up. Depending on if, I don't think so, but if the lockdown gets extended, I might also have a long wrap up in May. With that said, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home, y'all. And outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye!